Take notice an application has been made by Harry Wismer, 37538 Lake Line, Port Stanley, Ontario, for consent pursuant to section 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended to sever lands municipally known as 37474 Lake Line, Township of Southwold. The applicants propose to sever a parcel of the frontage of 6,659 meters, 21.84 feet, or 6.659 meters, and a depth of 46.750 meters, 153.38 feet, to be conveyed as a lot addition to an adjacent parcel. The applicant is retaining an irregular lot with an area of 11 hectares, 27.18 acres proposed to remain in residential use. Do we have any applicants or agents or interested parties who wish to speak to this application? Please introduce yourself to the committee. You can come up to the center at the back here. Mr. Wismore, please.
I'm not sure that I have to, it's pretty well self-explanatory, really. All we're attempting to do is to even out these two particular lots. There is an easement through there for the Union Gas from 1942, and nothing can be built on that particular piece. The two on either side, Jason Murray and Chris Wismer, are dividing that little piece, and you have the map right there, that little piece of property there. When I severed off the one to the left of that particular one, between it and the gas metering station there, I left that little piece of property with frontage in the event that someone might want to travel back through into the area behind the irregular 27 acres that I own. That is not going to happen. Kettle Creek isn't going to allow anything like that to occur. So really, all we're doing is just evening out that particular property line. At least that's the proposal that I'm making to the land divisions here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any questions on it?
I will ask for Paul's report first. Paul Clark's the planner's report, and then we'll deal with any further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to the committee. So these applications were originally heard at the February LDC meeting. They were deferred at the request of the Conservation Authority. At the time, the dimensions of the proposed lots would have required a slope stability analysis. Rather than go through that process, the applicants have amended the applications to not require a slope stability analysis. It has been reviewed by Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, who agrees that the new proposed property boundaries do not require one, and have recommended that the application be approved and that all outstanding issues were resolved with this amendment. So with that, the following conditions are being requested from the county. A digital copy of the draft and final deposit reference plan be provided to the county. A solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county, and that subsections 3 or 5 of section 50 of the Planning Act as amended apply to any subsequent conveyance or transaction involving the subject lands. The Township of Southwold has requested the following conditions. Number 1, that the applicant meet all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 2, that the applicant provides a description of the lands to be severed, which can be registered at the Land Registry Office to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 3, that the applicant solicitor provides an undertaking to the municipality to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcels once the transaction has occurred to the municipality. Number 4, that the applicant have a drainage reapportionment completed pursuant to the Drainage Act to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 5, that the applicant provide a mutual drain agreement pursuant to the Drainage Act to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 6, that the applicant solicitor provide a request for clearance of conditions to the municipality demonstrating how all of the conditions of consent have been fulfilled to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 7, that prior to the final approval of the county is advised in writing by the municipality how the above noted conditions have been satisfied. Number 8, that all conditions noted above shall be fulfilled within 2 years of the notice of decision. So the county of Elgin is authorized to issue the certificate of consent pursuant to section 53, subsection 42 of the Planning Act. Number 9, that all severed parcels be merged on title to create one parcel. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Do the committee members have any questions? John Selden.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Wismer, are you still there? May I ask you how much of that, how close to the slope was that northern section that you've taken off this, that to a slope area that the Conservation Authority was concerned about, or is it part of a slope? 70 feet, it's 70 feet away? Yeah. And be even.
The original proposal, which was turned down, I had proposed to extend these lots back another 20 feet just because they want, but then 50 feet apparently for Kettle Creek is not far enough away from a slope.
Well,
And
well, thank you for that. It was a puzzle to me. I mean, I couldn't see how the removal of that top northern part that you had extended it was such a great concern that it had to be brought back to your current boundary.
nor was I, but Kettle Creek was. And I guess that's all that's important. Not us or Kettle or me, but Kettle Creek.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any member have any other comments? Moved by John Andrews,
Happy to second.
second by Tom Marks. I'll ask for the vote.
Moved by John Andrews, seconded by Tom Marks, resolved that severance applications E 9722 and E 9822 be approved with conditions. Doug Aldred,
Yes.
John Selden,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Of the giving of notice, the provisional consent becomes final. The applicant has 2 years to meet the conditions imposed and submit the necessary documents for certification, or the consent will lapse and a new application will be required. Please leave the identification signs in place until the appeal period ends, after which they can be removed. If you would like to be notified of today's decision, please request a copy by emailing landdivision@elgin.ca. A copy of the comment package is also available upon request and includes all correspondence received. Thank you.
Who moved that and seconded it? Just for my. I moved it. Okay, thank you.
Deal with application E 2123. Take notice that an application has been made by Dave Rowe of Tilsonburg for consent pursuant to section 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended to sever lands legally described as lots 11 and 12, concession 1 Bayham. The applicant proposes to sever a parcel with an area of 4.3 hectares, 10.63 acres, to be conveyed as a lot addition to the adjacent parcel. The applicant is retaining a lot with an area of 32.29 hectares, 79.8 acres proposed to remain in agricultural use. I'll now ask, do we have any applicants or agents?
Yes, Dave Rowe, I'm here on
Okay.
on my computer.
Thank you, Dave. We'll now ask Paul Clark to give the report of the planning department.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to the committee. So this application is for a lot addition. The subject property has two different land use designations in the County of Elgin official plan. It is partially within the agricultural area and partially within Tier 1 settlement area. So the portion that is subject to the lot addition is the entirety of that subject property, which is within the Tier 1 settlement area. So that portion is proposed to be severed and added to an adjacent lot that I understand is currently used for a marina. In terms of the provincial policy statements, since the land that's subject to the severance is entirely within a settlement boundary, the section of the PPS that applies to this application is 1.1.3.2. Staff have reviewed this application against the policies of the County of Elgin official plan and noted no deficiencies. As I mentioned, there are two land use designations in the County of Elgin official plan that affect this property. That being said, boundary adjustments are permitted in all land use designations as long as they're not resulting in the creation of a new lot, which this application will not. And as I mentioned, it is within the settlement area. Staff from the municipality of Bayham have also reviewed this application against their local official plan policies and zoning bylaw and have recommended conditions on this application. Staff have identified that this application is consistent with the PPS and conforms to the official plan and are recommending approval with conditions. The county conditions being requested on this application are: number one, that a digital copy of the draft and final deposited reference plan be provided to the county. Number two, solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county. Number three, that subsection 3 or 5 of section 50 of the Planning Act as amended apply to any subsequent conveyance or transaction involving the subject lands. Conditions requested from the municipality of Bayham are: number one, that the owner provides a letter of undertaking for the severed lands to merge with 5 Bridge Street. Number two, that the owner obtains a zoning bylaw amendment to change the severed land zoning from the C3 and A2 zones to a site-specific C3-1 zone consistent to the Big Otter Marina and Campground lot addition lands, including the number and type of sites if necessary, and to specify permitted seasonal travel trailer park use on the severed lands in accordance with the official plan. Number three, that the owners of the lot addition lands located at 5 Bridge Street obtain site plan amendment approval prior to the development of the severed lands in accordance with the official plan. Number four, digital copy of the registered plan of survey. Number five, planning report fee payable to the municipality. And number six, that the applicant initiate and assume, if required, all engineering costs associated with the preparation of a revised assessment schedule for the Richmond main drain in accordance with the Drainage Act 1990 as amended, with a deposit to be paid in full to the municipality prior to the condition being deemed fulfilled. If the deposit does not cover the costs of the revised assessment schedule, the applicant will be billed for any additional costs incurred. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any comments or questions from the members of the committee? No comments?
I so move.
Moved by Bill Unger. Seconded by Doug Aldred. And I'll ask for the vote. Be called, please.
Moved by Bill Unger, seconded by Doug Aldred, resolved that severance application E2123 be approved with conditions. Doug Aldred,
Yes.
John Selden,
Yes.
John Andrew, Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger. Yes. Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you.
Dan McKillop, I'm the agent for the applicant.
Gary Somerville, landowner.
Paul Clark to read the planning report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to the committee. So what we have before us here with this application is a relatively straightforward surplus farm dwelling severance. The application is within an agricultural area in the County of Elgin official plan. It is also designated agricultural in Central Elgin's official plan and is currently zoned open space 1. In terms of the provincial policy statement, while the PPS does prohibit new lot creation in agricultural areas in most circumstances, it does allow lot creation for the purposes of severing off a house that is surplus to an existing farm operation. The County of Elgin official plan also contains similar provisions to the PPS in regards to surplus farm severances. Staff have reviewed this application against the official plan policies and found that it does conform to those. Staff from the municipality of Central Elgin have also reviewed this application against their official plan zoning bylaw policies and have found them to be consistent. Staff are recommending that this application be approved with conditions. County requested conditions on this application are: number 1, that a digital copy of the draft and final deposited reference plan be provided to the county. Number 2, solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county. Number 3, municipal addressing to be provided to Elgin County from the local municipality prior to final approval to the satisfaction of Elgin County. Conditions requested from the municipality of Central Elgin are as follows. Number 1, approval of a zoning bylaw amendment to prohibit residential dwellings on the retained lands. Number 2, a copy of the reference plan be provided to the municipality of Central Elgin. And number 3, a drainage reassessment be done if necessary at the owner's expense. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Paul. Any members have any comments? Moved by John Andrews, moved by John Andrews, seconded by Bill Unger. Call the vote, please.
Moved by John Andrews, seconded by Bill Unger, resolved that severance application E2223 be approved with conditions. Doug Aldred,
Yes.
John Zelt,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Sorry. There is a 20-day appeal period from the giving of the notice of decision during which the applicant, the minister, a specified person, or any public body may appeal the decision or any condition imposed. If no appeal is received within 20 days of the giving of notice, the provisional consent becomes final. The applicant has 2 years to meet the conditions imposed and submit the necessary documents for certification, or the consent will lapse and a new application will be required. Please leave the identification signs in place until the appeal period ends, after which they can be removed. If you would like to be notified of today's decision, please request a copy by emailing landdivision@elgin.ca. A copy of the comment package is also available upon request and includes all correspondence received. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
23. Take notice an application is made by Nick Dijak, 1599 Adelaide Street North, London, Ontario, as amended to sever lands municipally known as 50942 Vienna Line. The applicant proposed to sever a parcel with a frontage of 45.8 meters, 150 feet, a depth of 64.3 meters, 210, 0.96 feet, and an area of 2,945 meters squared, 0.72 acres, to be conveyed as an addition to an adjacent lot. The applicant is retaining a lot with an area of 30.33 hectares, 75 acres, proposed to remain in agricultural use. Do any of applicants or agents or interested parties who wish to speak to this application, please introduce yourself to the committee.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Nick Jagger from SPM, the agent representing the owner who's also, or the benefiting owner that's also attending virtually today. I understand this application is being requested to be deferred, which we're okay with. Deferred for additional information from the zoning and official plan amendments that are also being considered with this approach. So I'm basically here to answer any questions at this time.
No, we'll have Paul give his report first, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So through you to the committee, this application is for a lot addition in a prime agricultural area. The applicant is severing off a portion of land that's about 0.7 hectares being conveyed to an adjacent lot that is currently being used for agricultural related uses. So as per the PPS, the permitted uses in agricultural areas are of course agricultural uses, but in additionally agricultural related uses and on-farm diversified uses. So the PPS defines agricultural related uses as those farm related commercial and farm related industrial uses that are directly related to farm operations in the area and benefit from bringing in close proximity to farm operations. The owner of the lot that's being added to is PH Engineering Solutions, and they have also applied for a concurrent zoning bylaw and official plan amendment through the Township of Malahide. The business currently offers automation control system design to agricultural operations in the area. In terms of the County of Elgin official plan policies, boundary adjustments are permitted in agricultural areas. And specifically, since this is for an agricultural related use, which is obviously, of course, permitted in agricultural areas, there's no issues with the County of Elgin official plan for this application. However, the Township of Malahide has recommended that we defer this application pending those OPA and ZBAs that have been applied for that I mentioned earlier. A decision has not been made yet by Malahide Township Council on those applications. I understand that they're going to council next month. So we'll have a decision at that point, and I will reach out to Malahide Council and see if we can put this agenda item back on the June meeting and hopefully get a decision at that time once the decision on the OPA and ZBA have been made. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Paul. Do all the committee members agree with the recommendation that it be deferred? So we need a motion. Seconded by Bill Unger. We'll ask for the vote.
Moved by John Selden, seconded by Bill Unger, resolved that severance application E2323 be deferred pending a requisite official plan and zoning bylaw amendment. Dugaldred?
Yes.
John Selden?
Yes.
John Andrews?
Yes.
Tom Marks?
Yes.
Bill Unger?
Yes.
Ian Fleck?
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
2423. Take notice that an application is made by Adam McCollum, 3844 Schweitzer Drive, Glencoe, for consent pursuant to section 53 of the Planning Act as amended to sever lands mutually known as 25785 McMurtry Line. The applicant proposes to sever a parcel with a frontage of 104 meters, 341 feet, and a depth of 159 meters, 521.65 feet, and an area of 3.10 hectares, 7.67 acres to sever a dwelling that is surplus to a farming operation. The applicant is retaining a lot with an area of 43.11, 100 hectares, 106 acres, proposed to remain in agricultural use. Do we have any applicants or agents who wish to speak to this application? Please introduce yourself to the committee.
Good morning. Just wanted to make note that it's actually 17.44 hectares and 43.11 acres would be retained.
Did you get that wrong?
17.44 hectares. 43.11 acres.
Yep, okay. Thank you very much. I'll now ask Paul to read the planning report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So through you to the committee, this application is for the severance of a surplus farm dwelling that is surplus to the needs of a farmer. It is designated agricultural area in the County of Elgin official plan and is designated rural area in the West Elgin official plan and is currently zoned general agriculture A1. In terms of the provincial policy statement, policies on surplus residential dwellings in agricultural areas, generally the new lot should be limited to a minimum size needed to accommodate the use and appropriate sewage and water services. As noted, you can see that the size of this proposed severance is significantly larger than what would normally be approved for a surplus farm dwelling. The reason that we are recommending that this application be approved despite its unusually large size is due to the presence of a significant ravine feature on the land that makes that portion being severed essentially impossible to be used for agricultural purposes. I conducted a site visit to the site and did try to take pictures to show how deep the ravine is, but unfortunately due to the trees on the area, I couldn't get a good view of the actual ravine itself. So the planning report includes a shaded relief map showing the elevation changes just to show how significant they are. There is no feasible way that that portion of land could be used for agricultural purposes in its present condition. And of course, the Conservation Authority would likely not approve any fill of that area. So in terms of the applicant's request, while not the standard size that we would typically approve, given the presence of the natural heritage feature on that land, from a planning perspective, we wouldn't consider it good planning to keep that all on one lot rather than trying to keep it with the farm and risking something happening to it in the future. Staff from West Elgin have also reviewed the severance application and have come to the same conclusion that it is in the spirit of the provincial policy statements to allow this severance to move forward in its current form. So staff are recommending that this application be approved with conditions. The county conditions being requested are the digital copy of the draft and final deposited reference plan be provided to the county. And number two, a solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county. And West Elgin's conditions being requested are number one, that the applicant meet all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number two, that the applicant provides a description of the lands to be severed, which can be registered in the land registry office to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number three, that the applicant solicitor provides a undertaking to the municipality to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once the transaction has occurred to the municipality. Number four, that the applicant successfully applied to the municipality for a zoning bylaw amendment for the severed and retained parcels, and having such rezoning of the zoning bylaw come into full force and effect pursuant to the Planning Act to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number five, that the severed and retained lands are transferred to the prospective purchaser, Adam McCollum, as outlined in the purchase agreement. Number 6, that the applicant have a septic system assessment be completed by a qualified individual on the proposed severed parcel to ensure that lands are suitable for privately owned and operated septic system to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 7, that the applicant have a drainage reapportionment completed if required pursuant to the Drainage Act to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number 8, that prior to final approval of the county is advised in writing by the municipality how the above noted conditions have been satisfied. And number 9, that all conditions noted above shall be fulfilled within 2 years of the notice of decision, so that the county of Elgin is authorized to issue the certificate of consent pursuant to section 53, subsection 4A2 of the Planning Act. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hey, thank you, Paul. Any members have any, of the committee have any questions? No.
No more questions or comments. I'll move approval.
Moved by Duke Aldred.
Seconded.
I'll ask for the vote to be called.
Moved by Doug Aldridge, seconded by Tom Marks. Resolved that severance application E2423 be approved with conditions. Doug Aldridge,
Yes.
John Selden,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you.
If you would like to be notified of today's decision, please request a copy by emailing landdivision@elgin.ca. A copy of the comment package is also available upon request and includes all correspondence received. Thank you. (523). Take notice an application is made by Courtney Sinclair, 51 Front Street, West Strathroy, for consent pursuant to section 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended to sever lands municipally known as 29861 Aaron Line. The applicant proposed to sever a parcel with a frontage of 80 meters, 262.5 feet, and a depth of 100 meters, 328 feet, and an area of 8,000 square meters, 1.9 acres, to sever a dwelling that is surplus to a farming operation. The applicant is retaining a lot with an area of 113,150.11 meters squared, 28 acres, proposed to remain in agricultural use. Do I have any applicants or agents or interested parties who wish to speak to this application? Please introduce yourself to the committee.
Good morning to the committee. My name is Courtney Sinclair and I am the agent in this application.
Thank you very much. I'll now ask Paul to give the planning report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to the committee. So this application is for a surplus farm dwelling that is surplus to a farming operation. It is currently designated agricultural area in the County of Elgin official plan. It is also designated agricultural in the local official plan and is currently zoned agriculture A1. In terms of the provincial policy statement, again, like the previous ones that we've seen this meeting, the same section applies to 3.4.1 that the new lot be limited to a minimum size needed, and that the planning authority ensures that residential dwellings are prohibited on the remnant farm parcel. As to point 2, that will be addressed through a subsequent zoning bylaw amendment that has been requested as a condition by the municipality of Dutton Dunwich. In terms of the County of Elgin official plan policies, section E 1.2.3.4 sets out lot creation on lands in the agricultural area, and it does allow the creation of new residential lots where there is a dwelling that is surplus to a farming operation. In terms of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich's official plan and zoning bylaw, staff from Dutton Dunwich have reviewed this application against those policies and found that they do conform to the OP. There is a minor deficiency in the zoning bylaw, however. The current lot proposed to be severed is approximately 8,000 square meters in size, which is slightly under the 8,093 square meters that's required under the zoning bylaw. So that will also be addressed at the same time as the amendment to prohibit residential development on the remnant farm parcel. Staff are recommending that this application be approved with conditions. Conditions being requested by the county are as follows. Number 1, that a digital copy of the draft and final deposited reference plan be provided to the county. Number 2, solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county. Number 3, municipal addressing to be provided to Elgin County from the local municipality prior to final approval to the satisfaction of Elgin County. Additionally, that the following conditions from the municipality of Dutton Dunwich be included as conditions for consent. Number 1, that a zoning bylaw amendment is in full force and effect for the severed and retained parcels. Number 2, that septic system review for the severed parcel has been completed. Number 3, that municipal drain reapportionments have been completed. Number 4, that mutual drainage agreement under section 2 or 4 of the Drainage Act has been provided to provide legal drainage outlet for the newly created residential lot. Number 5, that 2 hard copies and 1 digital copy of the registered survey have been provided to the municipality. Number 6, that taxes are to be paid in full. Number 7, that all Dutton Dunwich planning fees as set out in the fees bylaw be paid to the municipality. Number 8, that a 911 sign be established for the severed and retained parcels. Number 9, that all barns capable of holding livestock or are in disrepair on both retained and severed lands be removed or decommissioned to the satisfaction of the chief building official. Number 10, that the applicant confirms with the municipality that they are a bona fide farmer. And number 11, that the solicitor provides an undertaking that a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel, once the transaction has occurred, will be provided to the municipality. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Paul. Are any committee members have any comments on this application? John Selden.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Ms. Sinclair, the 8,000 square meters seems an odd minimum. Is any agricultural land being taken out of service by making the severed lot that large?
No, it's just going around the existing grass in the house that's there already.
So no agricultural lands being lost?
No, if there is, there's minimal to create a square lot around the house, but it's very minimal.
Thank you.
Any other questions from any of the members? Moved by John Andrews. Second by Bill Unger. Ask you to call the vote, Paul, please.
Moved by John Andrews, seconded by Bill Unger, resolved that severance application E 2523 be approved with conditions. Stu Goldred,
Yes.
John Zelt,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
The decision rendered today for this application will be circulated within 15 days. There's a 20-day appeal period from the giving of the notice of decision, during which the applicant, the minister, a specified person, or any public body may appeal the decision or any condition imposed. If no appeal is received within 20 days of the giving of notice, the provisional consent becomes final. The applicant has 2 years to meet the conditions imposed and submit the necessary documents for certification, or the consent will lapse and a new application will be required. Please leave the identification signs in place until the appeal period ends, after which they can be removed. If you would like to be notified of today's decision, please request a copy by emailing landdivision@elgin.ca. A copy of the comment package is also available upon request and includes all correspondence received. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. -23. Take notice an application is made by Chris Pigeon GSP Group Incorporated, 72 Victoria Street South, Suite 201, Kitchener, Ontario, for consent pursuant to Section 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended to sever lands municipally known as 11884 Sunset Road. The applicant proposes to sever a parcel with a frontage of 225.55 meters, 740 feet, a depth of 1,425 meters, 4,675 feet, and an area of 63.56 hectares, 157 acres, to create a new industrial lot. The applicant is retaining a lot with an area of 150 hectares, 370 acres, proposed to be developed for industrial uses. Do we have any applicants or agents and interested parties who wish to speak to this application? Please introduce yourself to the committee.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. My name is Chris Pigeon. I'm a principal planner with GSP Group. Just have a couple of brief comments. So I'm here representing Eleanor Limited Partnership. The Broccolini Real Estate Group is the parent company. Russell Beach is also here this morning. He's a senior vice president with Broccolini Real Estate. You will recall that we had a consent application for the St. Thomas Assembly Plant in 2022. We are very close to finalizing that consent application, subject to some cross easements. That is for the Amazon warehouse that is now constructed on site. Broccolini now has a new opportunity for another significant industrial user, and requires the severance to proceed in order to facilitate those continued discussions with that user. We've reviewed the staff report, and we also attended the Southwold Township council meeting where they imposed conditions, and we're in full support of all of the recommendations that are before the committee this morning.
Thank you for your comments. I'll now ask Paul to give the planner's report for Elgin County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So through you to the committee, as Chris had mentioned, this is a severance for the purposes of future industrial development on the severed lot. The severed lot roughly follows the existing train yard that's on that property. So if you see on the aerial view, there is a train yard near the rear of that lot. So the severed portion doesn't include any of the train tracks that would be left with the retained lands. In terms of the provincial policy statement, this area is within a settlement area, and the provincial policy statement supports a wide mix of uses and densities in the settlement areas, and directs planning authorities to protect and preserve employment areas for current and future uses. So this application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, as we would be protecting and preserving employment in that area following the closure of the St. Thomas Assembly plant. In terms of the County of Elgin official plan, the land is designated as being within a Tier 2 settlement area, and Tier 2 settlement areas permit a variety of land uses, including employment lands. We did receive comments from a member of the public, a neighbor, expressing concerns over existing woodlands on the severed lots. However, staff have reviewed the application against our official plan policies. The woodlands that are on the lot do not meet the official plan guidelines for significant woodlands, and therefore are not protected under the official plan. Anything regarding landscaping or site features would be addressed later through site plan control. It would not be subject to the policies for consents. Staff from the Township of Southwold have also reviewed this consent application against their official plan and zoning bylaw, and have found that it meets the policies of the official plan. Staff are recommending that this application be approved with conditions. The conditions being requested by the county are as follows. Number one, that a digital copy of the draft and final deposited reference plan be provided to the County of Elgin. Number two, solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county. Number three, municipal addressing to be provided to Elgin County from the local municipality prior to final approval to the satisfaction of Elgin County. Number four, direct connection to a legal outlet for the severed lot is required if an existing connection is unavailable to the satisfaction of the county engineer. All costs to be borne by the owner. Discharge of water to the county road allowance is prohibited. Number five, that if necessary, an entrance permit be obtained from Elgin County for a new entrance to the severed and or retained parcels. All costs associated with this shall be borne by the owner. And number six, lot grading plan is required for the severed lots. The following conditions are being requested from the Township of Southwold. Number one, that the applicant meet all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number two, that the applicant provides a description of the lands to be severed, which can be registered at the land registry office to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number three, that the applicant solicitor provides an undertaking to the municipality to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcels once the transaction has occurred to the municipality. Number five, that the applicant have an engineered lot grading plan prepared for the severed and retained parcels to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number six, that the applicant shall enter into a consent agreement with the municipality for the proposed severed parcel and the retained parcel, addressing all municipal interests and associated fees and charges, including and not limited to water, drainage, cash in lieu of parkland, development charges, road permits, amongst other matters, to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number seven, that the applicant solicitor provide a request for clearance of conditions to the municipality, demonstrating how all of the conditions of consent have been fulfilled to the satisfaction and clearance of the municipality. Number eight, that prior to the final approval of the county is advised in writing by the municipality how the above noted conditions have been satisfied. Number nine, that all conditions noted above shall be fulfilled within 2 years of the notice of decision, so that the County of Elgin is authorized to issue the certificate of consent pursuant to section 53, subsection 42 of the Planning Act. You may also notice that the comments list, which I've just read, is shorter than what Southwold originally requested. They originally requested 11 conditions, but sent a subsequent letter to myself last week, taking 3 of those conditions out, feeling that they'd be more appropriate to be addressed through site plan control rather than through the consent process. So the requested conditions that I just read do not include those which they struck. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Paul. Any committee members have any comments, questions? John Selden.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Pigeon. Just as a question of information, Mr. Pigeon, what is the wastewater treatment plant effluent discharge? Where is it going? Is it going to a natural water course, or is it going to a municipal sewer collection system?
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, that is being worked out through the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks. So that is a work in progress. Russell, do you have any other additional comments?
No, to your point, Chris, it is a work in progress. Once we establish the discharge criteria through the Ministry of Environment, there's some program requirements that they need from us as far as our end user and their discharge effluent criteria. So until we can kind of walk down the path a little bit further with this end user, we're not at a point right now where we can make an official application to the MECP, but we will be doing so very shortly.
Yes.
Supplementary? Just a quick additional question then. Do you have any sense of whether it's going to be a physical chemical treatment plant or a biological?
It will likely be a biological one, very similar to the Amazon facility.
Thanks so much.
Any other questions for any members?
I so move for approval.
Moved by Bill Unger. Seconded by Tom Marks. The vote to be called.
Moved by Bill Unger, seconded by Tom Marks, resolved that severance application E2623 be approved with conditions. Doug Aldred,
Yes.
John Zelda,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you. The decision rendered today for this application will be circulated within 15 days. There is a 20-day appeal period from the giving of the notice of decision, during which the applicant, the minister, a specified person, or any public body may appeal the decision or any condition imposed. If no appeal is received within 20 days of the giving of notice, the provisional consent becomes final. The applicant has 2 years to meet the conditions imposed and submit the necessary documents for certification, or the consent will lapse and a new application will be required. Please leave the identification signs in place until the appeal period ends, after which they can be removed. If you'd like to be notified of today's decision, please request a copy by emailing landdivision@elgin.ca. A copy of the comment package is also available upon request and includes all correspondence received. Take notes, an application has been made by Mashish Potter, 301-1599 Adelaide Street, North London, for consent pursuant to section 53 of the Planning Act as amended to sever lands municipally known as 8846 Homestead Road. The applicant proposes a lot boundary adjustment that result in the merging of 2.8 hectares, 6.9 acres with the 28.1 hectares, 70-acre parcel and the subsequent creation of a new parcel with an area of 1.4 hectares, 3.93 acres with frontage on Iona Road. This lot boundary adjustment will not result in the creation of any additional parcels. Applicants or agents or interested parties who wish to speak to this application, please introduce yourself to the committee.
Thank you, Chair Fleck. I'm Manish Padar with SPM. We had been here before, of course, and the application was deferred. We agree with the Dunwich Council and their updated conditions. And if there are any further questions, I'm happy to answer them on behalf of the applicant. Or sorry, on behalf of the owners.
Thank you very much. Give your comments on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So through you to the committee, so this application is for a lot boundary adjustment. Currently, there are two parcels of land that are owned by the owners. There is the larger parcel, which on the black and white map is identified as the retained lot number 2. And then there is a parcel that is being merged with that lot identified on the black and white map as lot 1. So those two currently are separate parcels from our understanding. The boundary between lot 1 and lot 2 runs up through the middle of the driveway currently. So the applicants are proposing to merge lot 1 and lot 2 and then to sever off lot 3 in exchange for lot 1. So we will start off this application with 2 lots, and at the end, when the severance is complete, there will still be the same number of lots, 2 lots. Essentially, we're just exchanging the location of one for the other. So in terms of the provincial policy statement, we are permitted lot boundary adjustments within the agricultural area, provided that no new lots are being created. So as I mentioned in this case, we're not creating any new lots. We're ending up with the same number of lots as before. And in fact, the lot that is being severed along Iona Road is actually smaller in size than the one that's being merged. So we're actually sort of ending up with less area for that lot than what we started with initially. This application was deferred at the last meeting because we had not received comments from Dutton Dunwich's council in time for the meeting. They were able to pass a resolution at their last council meeting for this application where they did recommend approval. So we are recommending that this application be approved with conditions. The county conditions that we're requesting are: number 1, the digital copy of the draft and final deposit reference plan be provided to the county. Number 2, solicitor undertaking to provide a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel once completed be provided to the county. Number 3, municipal addressing to be provided to Elgin County from the local municipality prior to final approval to the satisfaction of Elgin County. And number 4, no access will be permitted directly to Iona Road. Parcel must utilize homestead. So this was a result of the site visit that was conducted on this lot. So it has frontage on both roads. County, the Iona Road is a county road and Homestead Road is a local municipal road. There are hills on either side of that access, and given that the rate of speed on Iona Road is 80 kilometers an hour, myself and Peter Dukchek, our manager of transportation, both felt that it would be appropriate to request that the applicants utilize Homestead Road rather than creating another entrance on Iona for safety purposes. And then the conditions that are being requested from the municipality of Dutton Dunwich are: number 1, the zoning bylaw amendment is in full force and effect for the severed and retained parcels. Number 2, the septic system review for the severed parcel has been completed. Number 3, the location of the buildings located at 8808 Homestead be confirmed by an Ontario land surveyor to the satisfaction of the chief building official. Number 4, that a mutual drainage agreement under section 2 or 4 of the Drainage Act has been provided to provide a legal drainage outlet for the newly created residential lot. Number 5, that 2 hard copies and 1 digital copy of the registered survey have been provided to the municipality. Number 6, that taxes are to be paid in full. Number 7, that all Dutton Dunwich planning application fees set out in the fees bylaw be paid to the municipality. Number 8, that a 911 sign be established for the severed and retained parcels. Number 9, that lots merge on title. Number 10, that the solicitor provides an undertaking that a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel, once the transaction has occurred, will be provided to the municipality. Number 11, that the applicant's lawyer provide a legal opinion to the municipality that the property was not amalgamated previously. Number 12, that the zoning be put into a holding provision until further development detail is provided. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any comments or questions from the committee members? John Selden.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Paul. Paul, I don't want to make an issue about this. I think it's a good application and I tend to support it. But I'm just concerned about the phrasing. There are no additional parcels being created, but there is a new parcel being created. And that word new, depending on the interpretation of the word new, does that not make it problematic?
Go ahead, Paul.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So, and I think that is the crux of the issue with this application, is where the lot boundaries definitions are concerned. I would take the opinion that the PPS does not want us to be creating new lots so that there's an additional change in the number of lots. But when we usually do lot boundary adjustments, we're taking one lot and adding it to another. So you start with 2 separate lots and you end up with 2 separate lots. And in this case, it's essentially the same thing. We've got a separate lot that could be developed, let's say for residential. I don't know the zoning, if that's permitted right now, but the point is that there's a lot that could be developed today, and then there's the larger lots. So we're consolidating those 2 lots into one, and then essentially just moving that lot to Iona Road. But in terms of the number of lots, pre and post severance, they are the same. And we're ending up with a severed lot that is smaller than what we're consolidating. So from my perspective, the provincial policy statement is consistent with the spirit of not creating new lots in agricultural areas, because we've not actually created anything additional in terms of the residential lot. We're just essentially moving it from one place on the property to another.
Thank you, Paul.
Any other questions? Moved by John Andrews.
Second.
Okay, I should have said, I have one question. That means the blue number is on Homestead Road and not on Iona Road. Is that right? The 911 number. Yeah, that's what I'm gathering too. So the new Homestead, yeah. So the blue number is on Homestead. We have a mover and a seconder. Ask the call a vote.
Second. Thank you, Tom.
Moved by John Andrews, seconded by Tom Marks, resolved that severance application E 923 be approved with conditions. Doug Aldred,
Yes.
John Zeldin,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
Today for this application will be circulated within 15 days. There's the 20 days.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee. We appreciate your consideration and your decision today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moved by Doug Aldridge, seconded by John Andrews, resolved that the committee adjourn at 10:24 a.m. on May 24th, 2023 to meet again at 9 a.m. on June 28th, 2023. Doug Aldridge,
Yes.
John Zell,
Yes.
John Andrews,
Yes.
Tom Marks,
Yes.
Bill Unger,
Yes.
Ian Fleck,
Yes.
6-0, the motion is carried.
None. Business arising from correspondence? Or do we have any correspondence or business arising from correspondence?
No, Mr. Chair.
Do we?